What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Friday night Paracrew Podcast. We have a random hand going through this frame. What are you doing?
Fixing.
I'm being petted.
Yeah.
I'm naked now. Give me my hat.
No.
I have another one. I got a better one. Hold on. Technical difficulties. The Wicked consultant decided to steal my hat, so I have another one.
I am the
This
CB.
one's better anyway.
I'm the CB now.
One of my co-hosts will agree with this one. This one's definitely better. But anyway, so we have a couple of really interesting things going on this evening. First and foremost, as you can probably tell, we're not in studio. The Wicked consultant and myself are actually mobile this weekend. You comfy? Okay. But we're here. We're here just hanging out in Virginia. We actually traveled about 8.5 hours, and we had some issues to take care of. So that's why we're a little late, guys. I do apologize.
Not fun.
No, but I have a very special co-host for this evening. And if you read the description, you might be fooled. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever as a co-host, and I don't even know if this individual has been on the Paracrew yet, but hopefully, well, it doesn't matter because he's here now. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Howard Stern of the Paranormal, Mr. Howard Petrie. What is up, my brother?
Oh, thank you for having me on, man. This is like an honor, and this is my first time being on here. So, and I see Mackenzie showing love. I love it.
Oh,
she's over
yeah,
there.
she's. Oh yeah, she's petting me.
I wish my wife would do that.
The CB.
No, she'll. Before the end of the show, I can already tell what's happening. Going to happen. She's going to bite me. That's going to be the next thing. And no, we just ate. Ow! Stop it. Anyway, ladies and ow, that hurt. Anyway, see, told you. But it's all with love, guys. But Howard, for those who don't know, Howard is one of the, I guess you say founders, right? Or the head honchos over there at Paralinks.
I'm a co-owner of Paralinks. Been with them.
Okay.
Oh goodness. Matter of fact, Stephen Woodard, who's the actual owner of Paralinks, he spotted me. I'd done 3 podcast shows when he first found me. And the first podcast show, of course, anybody who ever does one of these, they're nervous as hell. They're sitting there, just kind of like freaking out, trying to get everything done. And my third podcast show, he asked me to come on and be part of back then it was PUN, Paranormal United Network. And I said, yeah, man, this is awesome. And I'll be glad to do it. And been there just about ever since.
You need to wear 2 hats now.
I have a lot of hats I wear. Well, that's cool. And actually, Howard is actually the host of Paranormal Swamp Top. I bring too many damn hats with me. Paranormal Swamp Top, Petri Dish, and also the Unholy Trinity. All amazing shows, and in order, literally, Paranormal Swamp Top, Petri Dish, and Unholy. It goes from, okay, cool, I can watch it with my family, to, kids better be asleep or over at grandma's. And it's amazing. They're all amazing shows, and he actually asked Squeakers and myself, the Wicked consultant and myself, to co-host the Petri Dish with him and Jackie. And
you call me
that's Sarah.
Consultant. Nobody knows my name.
I am not going to call you Mackenzie. That just makes me weird. It's just weird to me. No, you're a Wicked consultant. That's the way it is. But anyway, we've got an amazing show with an amazing guest on, and you guys already saw who it was. But before we bring this wonderful individual up, you want to hear it too? Hear what's going on? I want to do it that way. Hold on. No. Because, they're not linked. It's weird. I don't know.
What?
Hold on. More technical problems.
Why is this shit not linked?
Because it's mine.
That's not how that works.
There you go. You still hear us all right, Howard?
You good? You good to go?
Okay, cool. But you guys already saw who it was, so let me say hello to everyone in the chat real quick, and then we'll bring our wonderful guest on. First and foremost, the one and only David. And Howard, I know you saw this earlier. David actually scared the crap out of you. Howard thought we were live, and I was like, no,
we were live.
This is David. David does this. David always comments at least 15 to 20 minutes before the show. And David, man, really appreciate all your support that you always have for us. And Squeakers is on the wrong side of the camera tonight, but we still love her. And our guest is commenting. I love when they do that because it's like, wait a minute, I have to double check to make sure they're still backstage. This has got to be Donna. What's up, Donna? How are you tonight? Thank you for coming back.
Yep.
Professional paranormal research. Stopping by to give a like, much appreciated. Go and give a like, much appreciated.
Thank you.
Doug Curtis, Paratime Investigations. What's up, brother? How you doing? Doug's another one from Canada.
Too many Canadians.
Scott, what's up, brother? Scott actually runs an amazing show, Paranormal in History. He's great to listen to. Somebody goes on his rants. It's hard to understand him every once in a while. He's got that thick accent, but I
gotta love it though. You gotta love it. I love those accents.
Oh, I absolutely love it. He's saying hello to you, Alea from the V team. What's up? How are you tonight? Welcome back. KK Bootsy, love that name. That name's freaking awesome. What's
That's
up?
a cat name.
That is. Oh my stuff doing weird things. Vicky's here. What's up, Vicky?
I'm gonna name a cat that now.
Nikki, what's up? How are you tonight? And there's a lot of y'all. Uh-oh. And you know what? Before I do this last one, I gotta bring our guest up. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one and only Peta. Welcome, Peta. How are you tonight?
Hello.
Good morning, yes. I should say. So, I wanted to save this next comment just for us because we got to teach. We got to learn because you do learn here on the Paracrew Podcast. So for those of you who don't know, let's help this guy out. It's ethereal.
Ethereal.
And here, you ready? I'm gonna combine the Parapost and Paralinks. Listen, Mister.
Listen up, Mister.
Jesus.
And there's the one and only Stephen Woodard.
Yeah.
Big Papa Pun himself. What's up,
the
brother?
boss. Yep. Call him the boss. He's the boss.
Well, Peter, welcome back. It's been a minute since we've had you on. This has been awesome.
I don't think I've been on. I
thought you were on a while ago. I thought I had you on a while ago. That's hence the name, Ethereal Sisters. I have to look into that.
I don't think I've been on. But before we continue, KK Bootsy, her name's Christy, and she is such an amazing graphic designer. So she has been doing some designs for us for our channel, and oh my gosh, like she's incredible. So yeah, check her out on IG because top stuff and really good prices too. So
awesome. So if you guys are by all means. So if you guys are on Facebook, head on over to YouTube real quick and give her a follow. Give her a follow and subscribe, all that good stuff, and definitely check her out. I definitely will be right after the show. That is definitely going to happen.
No, we'll be going to Top Golf.
I'll do it after that then. But anyway, Hapern Paranormal. What's up, brother? How you doing, Robin?
Hello, Robin.
Just had the girl rolling on Listen Queens. Uh-oh.
I can imagine.
So, Peter, I don't know if you've seen any of the Paralinks, but there is a wonderful young lady over there at Paralinks called Christy, the Listen Queen. And she always tells Howard, listen, Howard, listen. She looks just like Squeaker. It's great. I actually had Listen Queen 2.0. And she's great.
Am I lagging?
What's that?
Am I lagging?
Yeah, you're a little bit.
She is, yeah. You can see it.
Yeah, I can.
Well, that's because you blind.
Huh?
That's not being blind. That's being deaf.
Doug said he's got to be right back. He's got to take a pee break. That's why you get Depends, Doug. You get some Depends. You wear your Depends. You ain't got to get up. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Just change your diaper and you're good.
Maybe you should think of that.
Right? I should. I agree.
I'm wearing two right now.
Just back up.
Yeah, seepage. You never know.
There you go. So, Peta, let's start off with the normal question. What got you into the paranormal field?
Well, I suppose like I've always had that kind of fascination, okay? Then when I was younger, I had some experiences, but I didn't really know about the whole, other side things. So I wasn't, educated. But then, hit 12, 13, started with all the horror movies and all that kind of stuff. Then when I was 15, I had a very negative experience that really screwed me up. So I think throughout my life, there was always just those questions, what was it? Where did it come from? How did it happen? The amount of questions that you ask, in the paranormal in general, right? And, I got to a stage in my life where I got rid of the ex-husband and decided, why not? I'm going to start. So that's what I did.
Nice.
And haven't looked back.
Glad you did. And Mr. is
trying to...
Yeah.
Nothing you should always lay all behind.
Yeah, and then he said that, which I brought the he up, and then he's making sure you see this.
And then he repeats himself.
And this apparently, Howard, this is for you.
Yeah, Joshua.
Someone has ripped off Chrissy, calling themselves LQ2. Listen, Queen 2.
And I was not late, mister. My internet was having problems.
Yeah, and just like before, my internet here isn't the greatest, so it's always weird. It's always weird somewhere else, using their internet. Hi, Irene. Pete, I don't know if you know Irene, but when you have a show, Irene is just like our buddy Raymond Newsom, freaking everywhere. Literally everywhere.
Awesome.
Shows support to everybody. Irene. I love Irene.
Yeah, I call Irene the sushi queen.
The sushi queen. Oh, that's so cool. So are you in Virginia to investigate, or are you like on vacay?
Well, neither at this point, but there might be an investigation coming if some people keep their acts up. But no, we're supposed to be down here for my brother-in-law's bachelor party. We just came down to celebrate for the weekend, so yeah, we're having some fun down here. So
I bet you are.
Yeah, 8.5 hour drive yesterday with barely any sleep.
Cow.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. But we've been keeping busy. So for those of you who didn't hear before, Peta actually has a team called the Ethereal Sisters. Wonderful, wonderful people. You need to, if you haven't already, links are in the description. Go check them out. But before you do, hang out and listen, because Peta, I want to know, how did the Ethereal Sisters come about?
Okay, so Ethereal Sisters, I didn't want to do it on my own. So I convinced my best friend, who is like my soul sister, because she's also into paranormal. I convinced her to do it with me. So, I explained to her what I wanted to do. And so then, it was a matter of sitting down and working out, what we were going to call it. And yeah, we wanted to make sure that there wasn't any other ethereal investigating groups around, like worldwide, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted sisters in the title, because, you know, we're like sisters, and yeah. And then it turned into our ESP, which her and I are very ESP with each other. And so that was kind of ironic. And but yeah, unfortunately, 6 months in, she wasn't able to continue. So I was investigating on my own for about 7 months. And then, I advertised and found Jen. And then I had Adam come along like a few months later. And then we've just recently got 2 new team members. So, yeah.
Very nice.
It's been good.
Very nice.
It's been good. But now that we've...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now that we've got, you know, more team members, it makes things a little bit harder, but also easier, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because it's
been
not
there.
not just a matter of, you know, like when I was doing it on my own, it's just a matter of picking up a camera and off I went. You know, it took me a while to get used to, you know, having Jen and saying our instead of my, and I still do it. I still do it. But yeah, so.
All right. So this guy, I know if you're a loyal listener to the Paracrew, you know who this is. Howard, I'm not sure if you know, but I know, Peta, you've been in the Paracrew audience for a while. This is actually Mr. Fedora himself. This is the one and only Scott Morton. And he pops up every once in a while, but he definitely likes to give his approval on the shows. And looks like, Scott, do you approve of the show? Yeah, he approves. Okay. But no, that's Mr. Fedora. And I have a couple of pictures here for him. So before we move on to our next question, Peta, Mr. has one. He has to hop in on this.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it.
Should we leave him in suspense and not answer it, or?
Look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, Mister. All right, so our podcast. Do you know Emily Mann's house? She's got What the Frick Live.
The name of the show sounds familiar. But
Emily Mann's house.
Sounds familiar. Yeah. I'm terrible with names. Faces I recognize.
Her co-host used to be Greg Ludwig, and I was on the show. Oh gosh, a couple of years ago now. And so when, you know, I was like, okay, what do I call my podcast? Like it was just a quick, I need answers. And she's like, call it what the something. And so we kept like going back and forth with all these, you know, names. I'm like, oh, what the paranormal? That'll do. But now that, you know, like we've done it on our channel, you know, I kind of want to rebrand and do it as a separate channel, because I think when you do too many lives, or you try and mix your podcast with your, you know, investigations, your seasons, all that kind of stuff, it can really kind of stuff up like the algorithm, the analytics. It's all complicated. It's a pain in the ass. So I need a new name. Because there's already like a channel called What the Paranormal, and I'm not a fan, so I don't want to have any
SPCA.
Well, I stop it. Stop it. I knew where that was going. Well, you probably have I can probably come up with some ideas, and ideas with me can go either really good or really bad. But maybe we can all get together and brainstorm something. But we will definitely keep. I will definitely keep everybody listening up to date as I find out about Peta's show, to make sure you guys can come over and support her and everything she's doing. Because honestly, the Ethereal Sisters, swollen fedora. and we can definitely show her some support because you guys do absolutely amazing here with me. So, Howard, you have never met Peta. Oh, sorry, Peta. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. It's okay. Carry on.
So, Howard, you've never met Peta before tonight. You want to ask her a couple questions? Have at it, brother.
No, I mean, I was just shooting out some, some suggestions. I mean, she wanted a new name for her show, and I said SPCA. I think that would be awesome because it's Peta and SPCA.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. So that to me that would be awesome. Also, we was talking about Emily Minhouse. I do know Emily. I used to be friends with her at one time, and that was a while back. Brian says I have a few names. NC-17. Now, Brian, I'm telling you now. When I was asked, what was it?
Basically, adult rated.
No children under 17.
Yeah.
And then I was asked, how would we handle this show? And pretty much it's a paranormal swamp talk type of show. Because I could, there he is. That's my brother right there, another co-host.
Mm-hmm.
One of my other shows, two of my shows actually, Scott. But I wanted to find out what we can actually talk about, how far we can go with this thing, how we can push this thing, and we're not going to push it. So we're just going to be nice about that. So let's be nice. And I guess one of the questions is, you live in Perth. You live in Perth, Australia. And I have a friend of mine. Well, she comes on a lot of my shows, and she's a fan. Her name is Nikki Cameron. Why don't you hook up with Nikki and see if she wants to do some investigating? Because I know she's. I don't think she's with any groups, but she's shown a strong interest in the paranormal field.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I do have quite a few, people in Perth who have been asking me for a while to do an investigation. So. Yeah, we're the team and I are trying to work out, should we do a group thing? Where would we go? Where would we, how would we do it? But yeah, I'd be up for it.
I mean, she's a sweet girl.
Scott.
Yeah, I people are awesome. Oh, another awesome.
That's one.
Maybe daughters with a panel.
That's a nice one.
Not bad.
Not a nice one. Just why that's making full on YouTube. Oh, okay.
Yes. So I do. I'm at 1.83K, I think, on YouTube. But Jen has come up with some really good ideas, and a few of them have the same ESP. So it kind of
That actually that would work out very well. That would work out very well. I think it would be easier too to figure, to kind of bring people over. They can make that connection. That's really cool.
Yeah.
My chat box isn't working.
No.
Oh, most of these are actually on Facebook. These comments are on Facebook. So if you're on the YouTube side, you won't see the others. I don't know, but
there's a
what do you do when you go into do an investigation? You said you're a psychic medium, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do as doing an investigation? Do you go in and do you pick up things in the house or a business or whatever when you're doing an investigation? Or how does your gift work?
So to begin with, because I had abilities, but then I experienced the strangest thing at the beginning of, I think it was last year. I was waking up every single day, and it didn't matter if I was still half asleep or anything, but I just knew without a doubt in my mind that my abilities were doubling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this got to the point where like I had this like feeling in the center of my chest, and I did. It was the weirdest thing. I just didn't know what was going on. And I was like all over the place with my moods. And I thought, oh, maybe I'm hormonal. So I even went to the doctors to like have bloods and that done because I seriously thought I was like losing my mind. And then one night I, go to bed, and this had been going on for about 8 weeks. And then I astral traveled in my dream. And I'd never done that before, and I didn't do it voluntarily. But I went too far, and I broke my cord. And a friend I had over at the time, who was staying with me, we were talking the next morning because I didn't remember. We were talking the next morning, and she said something that triggered what had happened, and I freaked out because it all was just like instantly like clear as can be in my head of what had happened. I think the strangest thing was that like I had gone to all these places, but I only could see one, and it was a very old city. It was really strange. But I was freaking out because I thought, oh my God, I've like broken my cord. Like that's not good, right?
Yeah.
But apparently it's not a big deal. So I think after that, like I figured out what was going on. I accepted that, okay, so that's what this like glowing ball in the center of my chest is. And then everything just came flooding in, and I was like overwhelmed with everything. And if you've ever watched the movie Lucy with Charlize Theron in it, where like the brain capacity, that's the only way I can describe it, like how everything was happening. So with investigating, I think I started like using my abilities more, but not on camera. It wasn't part of my investigation because I like to, gather, evidence, whether it's, like captured on camera or using like, different devices. Because, there's just so many people out there who say, oh, I've got abilities, I can do this, I can do that. But you can't prove that that person has that, right? So I didn't really want to incorporate it into my investigating. But then as my team grew, I was able to hand over research of locations to Jen and Adam because I didn't want to know anything. So I could go in and basically I'd go through the entire building, do a sweep, say what I was picking up, names, whatever. And it would be confirmed or unconfirmed, but it wouldn't be filmed. Because like I said, like try and approach investigations from a more kind of scientific point of view. But I keep getting more and more people say like, we want to see, like you using your gifts. So I don't know. It's a tough one, but I don't charge people. I just like to help people. And if I don't get anything, I don't get anything. I just say, well, I'm not getting anything. So I don't know.
Well, that's cool.
I think it's
Doug
a touchy
actually,
subject.
It really is. It really is. And it's, to me, it's, I don't want to say off of personal experience, but again, it's people's belief systems. So
yeah,
but definitely and I think we kind of touched on this actually last night, Howard. you just gotta, if you believe in para-unity, you believe, supporting everybody, just support their beliefs as well.
Yeah.
It's not just the person themselves. So, anyway, but Doug has an actually really good question for both of you. For both of you, actually.
Okay.
So he's actually asking, what are some of your future endeavors for you, Peta, and you, Howard? Like, what are you guys working on?
I'll let you go first, Howard. I just finished.
You're the guest. I'm the co-host. I'm the co-host. You're the guest. Guest always goes first.
Well, see, Mister in the chat, if he's still there, because I know he's freaking watching. I can feel your eyes on me, Mister. I'm going to try and get over to the States or Canada, because I've got to go to Canada first. But I did a recent poll on my IG story if I should go to the States or if I should go to the UK first. And I had 74% UK. So you better get working, mister. You better get working.
Come to the
States.
Hey,
Raymond.
Brian said he's got a spare bedroom. I mean, that's no problem with Brian.
Spare bedroom? You know what he said to me? He's like, he said to me, he's like, oh, no, I'll put you up in a hotel. And I'm like, you're going to leave a vulnerable Australian woman alone in a hotel. I watch too many true crime things and 911 calls. It's not safe.
She just called you out. That's what Steven said. Right. Wow.
Oh, hell yes, I did.
I agree with Tony. Here in the U.S., we have better food, more variety, especially down south, right, Howard? You got that southern love.
See, this is the thing. Like, I don't know. There are just so many spots that I want to go to. One of my main spots is the Sally House. The reason I want to go to the Sally House is, and this is probably in part answering the original question of future endeavors. I would like to start learning more about demonology. I find it quite fascinating. And, again, it's one of those like subjects that's very debatable, right? I've spoken to, quite a few demonologists and heard experiences that they've had, and it just is wild to me. And so I want to know if it's really a demon at the Sally House or if it's just, I don't know, something else.
Well, and that's the other thing too. And I've said this before on other shows. It's all about validation, and really you can't tell, through pictures or third parties. You almost have to go yourself, to just get that validation. And even though the true demonics, they obviously can be very dangerous. Me personally, I'd still have to go for me personally to say, yeah, there is one there, or there isn't one, or whatever. But actually, Doug has another interview. I love Doug. Doug with Paratime Investigations has a lot of really great questions. And this one I'm kind of curious on, and Fedora followed up with the second part. I want to add them all together. Is there a baseline established before an investigation when a sensitive begins to investigate, and how do you do that? And then Scott, for this part 2, says, do you bring up your gifts when you talk to your clients at the beginning of the investigation, or do you wait till after?
I think, all right, I'll give you a couple of examples. So we did an investigation at the Kalamunda Hotel. So I don't look at any history. I'll look at photos, but I won't look at any history. unfortunately, the investigation we filmed that night, there is just so much like noise contamination from the pub below. I can't even like fix it. But I rocked up there, and as soon as I got out, like as soon as I pulled up in the back, I looked up at this window, and it's weird because I see it in my mind, right? I don't see it like with my eyes. And then Adam comes out, and so as soon as Adam came out, I told him, and I described what she looked like. So before we even spoke to managers or anyone like that inside, because he's a skeptic, all right? He's a skeptical believer, but he questions everything. I'm talking to the manager, and I said, oh, there's this lady. Have you ever seen this lady? And she's wearing, this dress and kind of Victorian era. Her hair's like this. She's about this tall. And he's like, oh, yeah. How'd you know? And I said, well, I didn't. I'm just asking if you've seen like something like that around, or some, other people have seen. So that kind of like is good because it gives me confirmation. But the recent video that we've got up on the channel is a private investigation. So Jen and I did the preliminary investigation, and I said to her, okay, I want you to film the walkthrough that I do. She was the only one liaising with the owner, so I knew nothing. And the entire recording was just corrupted. The audio was like non-existent. And it wasn't even the mic or the cables, because we use the same mic, the same cables, but it's just this sound all the way through. And then here and there, there's like parts of my voice. But I went through her house and pointed out everything that I picked up, and she was blown away. Like, she was just like, oh my God, like, how on earth, like, how did you know that? I told her things even Jen didn't know. I even got her ex-husband's name. Hey, Dante.
So you said it was
hello.
It was like white noise almost, in a sense, coming through. Like what you'd see on the SB set. Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah. And I tried listening to the whole thing, but I couldn't. It was like with my migraine, I was just like, I'm not listening to an hour of this, because I thought there might be EVPs in there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
Well, I got something I want to say right quick.
Go for it.
Going back, there's a couple of people they not responded in here, but I'm going to call them out. Denise Pack, attorney and Denise Pack, Pac-Man Paranormal.
Okay.
They saved Waverly Hills. Save that. Trust me, if you can contribute to that, I would. That's to save one of our historic, one of the most haunted places you could possibly go to. It's a sanitarium in Kentucky, so it's a huge place. I mean, if you can contribute anything for that to help them out. And the next one I want to yell out. Well, I seen Shannon Rogers in there. That's my paranormal sister. And one last person in here I seen, and they're not commenting, is the Omega Supreme herself, Miss Crystal Woodard. We all bow.
Hats off. Praise
her. But I was going back.
Listen.
I was going back, and you said that you was interested in demonology.
Oh.
Well, I'm a demonologist. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you can. Okay, so the reason I'm interested in it is because I still have answers for what happened to me when I was 15. I'm still trying to figure out if it was just a really negative spirit, or if it was, classified as like maybe a low-level demon. I don't know.
We could talk about that. Let's talk about it after the show. That way we don't, you don't want to put all your personal business out there.
Things happened that are so beyond my understanding and that cannot be explained that it baffles my mind. And my mum still tells me things that I did that I have no recollection of at all. It is, I'm embarrassed because certain things happened at school. Like, do you want me to give you an example?
Yeah, by all means.
And this might give you an indication of whether it was a spirit or a demon, right?
Okay.
My mum bought an antique mirror that had been in our neighbour's family for generations.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted this mirror immediately. My mum has abilities. She was attracted to the mirror, so she bought it. And then she brought it home, and then I wanted it. Mum started experiencing things pretty much straight away, like shadows, lots of dark shadows, broad daylight as well, and always in my room. Then a few weeks after the mirror arrived and I had it in my room, I started changing. This went on for an entire year. It got worse and worse. But these are one of the things that I don't remember and I cannot explain. And I am horrified when I hear it because I'm just thinking I was in year 10 at high school doing this. I get to school. Mum said apparently I was like really pissed off. I didn't want to be there. And then I proceeded to, because she said you used to bang your head all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, what do you mean bang my head? She was like, you just bang your head. And I said, well, where would I do it? And she was like, anywhere. She said, you just start slamming your head against the wall. That was concerning enough. But then she tells me that I did it at school against the wall, and the bricks of the school that I went to are quite rough. So I said to her, I don't remember this, Mum. Like, where did I do this? It was near the canteen in the morning, where half the school of like year 8 to year 12s congregate, and I'm standing there banging my head against the wall. And I said to Mum, well, where was I hitting my head? Like, obviously, like, I'm thinking, well, rough bricks, I'm going to like have cuts, scratches, whatever. She said you were hitting like your forehead. She said your teacher, like your homeroom teacher, described it as like you were, it was like you were braining yourself. You were just slamming your head against the wall. And I'm like, oh, she said, that's why she had to take you to the doctors. And I said, oh, so I got, did I cut up my forehead and stuff like that? She said, no, that was the really weird part. You didn't have a mark on you.
Wow. That's kind of interesting.
And I was like, how is that possible? How is that possible for me to be doing that? I don't recall doing it, but then not even having like a mark or a graze or anything on my head. It doesn't make sense to me.
Definitely not. Well,
I had kids at school telling me that I needed to have an exorcist, like, exorcism. And I'm just like, what the frick are you talking about?
I think I know what you might be going through. But like I said, I'd rather talk to you after, because I want to find out a little bit more information from you before I say anything.
Okay.
100%. 100%. Well, guys, it is that time of the show. We're going to take a quick commercial break, so do not go anywhere. We've got, if you missed on the Paracrew Podcast on Wednesday, I have a new little teaser for everybody. Just a little project that I'm working on, but the only way to find out what it is to sit back and relax and hang out, because when we come back, I have a question, well, 2 questions that have been digging that I've been wanting to ask Miss Peta down there. See, Miss, just like Brian. See, Mister, Miss.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
That I wanted to ask her.
I'm concerned.
Oh no, it's a good one. 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 And yeah, so we're not done yet. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these quick commercial break.
You know how we do. Big up to this crew. From day one till it's done, do or die, me and you. Big up to this crew. Yeah, we like to keep it positive. You know how we do. Big up to this crew. Got props non-stop and mad love for you. Rising up like the moon, elevating the mood, uplifting attitudes, cause that's what we choose to do. And I don't know about you, but there's enough negativity going around with plenty room to improve. Yeah, sometimes we collide with stress and negativity. We always let it slide. It's an elevated vibe, so fly. We touch the sky every time we ride. Big up to this crew. Yeah, we like to keep it positive. You know how we do. Big up to this crew. From day one till it's done, do or die, me and you. Big up to this crew. Yeah, we like to keep it positive. You know how we do. Big up to this crew. Got props non-stop and mad love for you. Now roll back time. Tell me what you find. You're gonna see the same sucker MCs on the sidelines. In the fourth quarter when it's do or die time. That's when this crew is inclined to go prime time. From day one straight till it's done. But you all know full well that we only just begun. Yeah. We stick together, one for all for one. When it gets heavy, no, we don't cut and run. Crazy thinking about the places that we've been. I could tell you stories that'll make your head spin. But like I said, straight, thick or thin, there's so many memories giving me silly grins. So please allow me to introduce to you my one and only homies, yo, I love this crew. So please allow me to introduce to you my one and only homies, yo, I love this crew. Big up to this crew. Yeah, we like to keep it positive, you know how we do. Big up to this crew. From day one till it's done.
Welcome back, everybody.
I've got to say one thing. That commercial, my nipples got hard. I'm just saying.
And for those of you who don't know, this is a very quick preview on Howard himself. So yeah, you know what? Honestly, like I saw you, Peta, in the beginning of that my first video that I was the please wait. You know, while it's loading, everything's getting ready. The first like 2 minutes or so, you're just sitting there, just bobbing your head. I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing this. I love that song, and I've said this before. The P3 video, that song fits perfectly for the P3 program. You know, we are just one big crew. We try to keep everything positive, and we love what we're doing, and it fits so well. So, but
you've done a good job.
I knew Howard was going to. You know, and this is Howard too. So, hey, Dark Shower knows how you doing tonight, brother? How y'all doing? So there was, let's see, there was something. What did I miss? I missed something here. Yes, Joshua. Joshua says never or remove haunted mirrors or smash them or bury them. Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Here's the thing. It got smashed. It was smashed. I and that's the other thing. I remember.
You just got 7 years of bad luck.
My whole life has been bad luck. You don't know how many broken bones I've had. Yeah, I remember things very differently. And then my mum's like, no, that's not how it happened. I thought I broke the mirror. I dropped it, but Mum dropped it.
We don't bow down to corporate sponsors.
Oh, no. Maglite. So Shannon, by the way, Peta, Shannon actually has a really interesting story of her own. Yeah. Definitely someone that should be Squeakers. Future guest. Yes. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Squeakers is all my scheduling. But she has a very interesting question. What was your greatest obstacle in becoming who you are today as far as working with the spirits?
Myself. Definitely myself. I think, and I still do it from time to time, I'll question myself and I'll think, oh, that's just like, Shannon, are you referring to like my abilities or as like an investigator? I don't want to like answer it incorrectly.
Well, while we're waiting for her to respond, and I know what you mean, Peter, because by all means, I don't claim to be a medium. I don't claim to have any gifts. The only thing for me is I'm actually very sensitive to the electromagnetic field. When there's a high enough concentration, I get migraines. I'm very susceptible to it. But what I tell people is when you're out in the field, react. Don't think. As soon as you start thinking about something, you're already second guessing yourself. Just react. And I think even for mediums, I found too, they're the same way. Just I've noticed they don't think about it. They just react to it. Whether it's right, wrong, doesn't matter. Just get it out there, get it out in the open, and try to validate it. And your abilities, your gifts, they make you the investigator. That's cool.
So it's still the same answer myself. Questioning and I guess trying to find the difference between it being my psychic ability coming through or my ego, because that plays like a huge role, and once you can figure out like, okay, that's definitely my ego, then it's a lot easier to just go forward if you just listen to your intuition. Is giving Brian hell. Yes.
I will agree with that 100%. And I'll tell you right now, what a gift that is, because it gives the gift of laughter to the rest of us, especially in the global ghost hunt family. We love it. And even
Brian can even like confirm, like he has asked me many times, like, okay, do you see anything? And normally, like if I'm put on the spot, I kind of like get but if I'm comfortable with someone like I am with Mr. I usually what I'll do to keep my ego out of it, which when I say ego, it's like you're putting your own thoughts into it, but you think that it's a psychic thought, if that makes sense. I described to him his car, the kind of car, the color of the car, the terrain of where he was driving at the time of this particular incident. And I try and think of something very basic. So I might picture a room full of white balloons, right? I'll focus on the white balloons. So then I know that any images or thoughts that pop into my head are more from spirit than my ego, if that makes sense.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. So I said before the break, I had two questions for you. The first one I'd like to ask, especially people in different countries, because I think it's kind of fascinating. And the question is what do you see as the difference? Like, I know you network with a lot of people from all over the world, just like a lot of us do. What are some of the big differences you see in investigating down in Australia compared to us here in the US or Canada, the UK? You know, are there any differences, and what are they?
Well, see, here's the thing. In Perth or even Western Australia, I've had ABC networks from the Northern Territory. I've had a paranormal host, radio host from Melbourne. I'm the only one in Western Australia that is, I guess, online and actively investigating. Obviously, there's a lot of investigators who do it, I guess, like, you know, whether it's ghost hunting tours and things like that. But it's almost like an underground freaking secret here that no one wants to talk about.
Okay.
And so with you guys over in the States, it's everywhere, right? No one questions it. Well, they do, but not to the degree that it is in Australia.
Okay. Yeah,
I think there's a lot of more skeptics than...
You got to look at it this way. I mean, just because it's Australia compared to UK, the United States, Canada, it doesn't matter. To me, each region is charged with different types of activity. Okay, you have, say, like in Pennsylvania, you have you have haunted locations. Let's say Gettysburg. You have Gettysburg up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's one place. But if you come down where I live at, you just have one location, and that's it. Where you come down where I live at, you can't kick a rock without having a story behind it, and that's being honest with you. I mean, Peter, I live outside of New Orleans, Louisiana, so it's one of it's one of the haunted cities in probably, and I know in the United States. I don't know about in the world.
I know, I'd love to go to some of those places in New Orleans, especially the old cemeteries.
Well, yeah, you got Cemetery Number 1. You got St. Louis. St. Louis Cemetery Number 1. You have the Irish cemeteries that's out there. There's a whole bunch of places, and everything's above ground. You have some that are below ground, but everything's above ground. So
that's one reason why I want to come.
See, you know, in Perth, you know, when Sean and I first started, it was so hard to find any haunted locations. And then any that we did find online, because it's the same list on every single website, majority of them don't want you to go investigate because they don't want to be known as haunted, because they don't want to scare off people, or they're privately owned, or they're owned by the National Trust, and you've got to like jump through a bajillion hoops and pay exorbitant prices just to get in there to investigate.
Well, I think that's any location, though. That's just about any location nowadays.
So it's only been, you know, through, you know, doing it and word of mouth that, you know, like we've been able to continue finding more and more and more. So, yeah.
That's fair.
But I don't know a lot of investigators in Australia. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't.
Well, you said you wanted to come to New Orleans. Well, next year we're going to be hosting Fear Fest in 2023. We're pushing for October. and we're going to have some guest speakers, famous guest speakers. Of course, we're in partnership with we invited Parapost to come along, and everybody from Parapost, they're more than welcome to come. And of course,
you said famous. I'm staying home.
Well, you're famous, aren't you going to be there?
People are just really bored if they're watching me. And actually, Peta, it's funny you were saying that you don't know a lot of investigators. There's actually a team, and it's very interesting that you said about that whole like separation, like not it's all hush hush underground, because there's a team called Paracrew Australia, great group of individuals, and they said literally the exact same thing. They said it's really underground and it's very hush hush. And Howard, I love your brother, but I gotta kind of agree and disagree, because it's not just like here in Pennsylvania. It's like little spots here and there. Yeah, Gettysburg, it's known to be haunted. That's mainstreamed. But like where I'm from, it's just like with PETA. You can't really discuss it. It's all taboo. And I think it's regional, like down your way. Everyone accepts it. Out in San Diego, same way.
Well, it's the same way. I mean, yeah, but you can go through like parts in the South. I mean, Louisiana and New Orleans, we accept it. It's open, and we talk about it on a daily basis, the paranormal. Whereas if you go to Alabama, it's taboo. Alabama. Bible country, Bible country. You just can't talk about that stuff. Hey, Ann. Love Ann.
And Shannon, I think, asked me earlier, or Doug maybe, if I had a religion. So I'm.
Did I miss that? I missed that. These guys were just on it. Where is it? Oh, here. Sorry. The chat just started blowing up.
Ann's from Australia also. It was Ann and Renata. They have a show, and they used to have a podcast. I don't know if they still do it or not. They're on it, but they're I know them very well, and beautiful ladies. I mean, and they're into the paranormal. They go all over the world to investigate, and they're from Australia. So
see, there's Amy's Crypt,
and she's just posted her YouTube channel.
Oh, sweet.
And she's from Adelaide. I don't. Either her parents are filthy rich, because I do not know how she can travel like to all the places that she goes. For me to get to the States for a return ticket, it's going to cost between $1,300 and $1,800.
I believe that. And I definitely believe that.
Yeah. So, Mister, get your chops working. And
right.
Yeah, really slicing here.
So the other thing I'm kind of curious about, Peta, is I've noticed on some of your videos, and by the way, again, guys, if you haven't already, go check out Peta and the Ethereal Sisters.
Ethereal.
Go check them out. All their links are down below. But I've been noticing that you guys use a Ouija board once in a while. I know that a lot of people are kind of about it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. All right. So with that, okay, it's kind of more of an experiment.
Okay.
I think people have a huge misconception of Ouija boards. I personally would not touch it. I wouldn't drive with it in my car, so Jen has to take her car. And I think because of things I played around with prior to, my experience at 15, I just won't go near it. But I also am curious, I suppose. The way Jen looks at it, it's no different to dowsing rods or, any other kind of device where, doing sensory depths, like you're basically channeling spirits, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, people seem to think that, if you take a Ouija board to a haunted location, that the, freaking planchette's going to start spelling out ZO, 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 and all this bullshit and flying around the room. And it just doesn't work like that. Like we had the planchette finally move, but like that was it. That took the spirit obviously a lot of energy, and it only moved maybe an inch. That was that.
Yeah.
So
Shannon. Oh, sorry,
yes,
Shannon was wondering if she could send you. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. See, that's
you
what
can actually,
about connect people.
If you ever want to see Shannon's story, she was actually a show. I think it's on Discovery Plus. A Ghost Ruined My Life, and she was the very first episode, the first season. And my wife, she actually cried when she watched it. She felt so bad. I mean, she still feels bad for Shannon. I mean, it's like, oh my Lord, that woman went through so much. You just watch that, and oh my, it's an upsetting tale for sure.
And actually, Doug, I actually want to hop in with this one. Here's the thing, and I agree with Joshua, but me personally, with Ouija boards, first and foremost, a lot of people don't know how to properly use them. That's number one. They just think, whatever. And what I mean by properly is they don't know how to close properly. They don't know how to cleanse properly. And the other thing is there's a lot of chance for human error. That's my thing. Yes. I like to be, I don't want to say more scientific, but validation for me. Yeah. And as soon as you put your hand on the cursor, you're automatically contaminating it in my mind. Because if you want to fake evidence or whatever, do something for entertainment, what better way than to have your hands right there? So for me, if cursor starts moving on its own, okay, that's a little bit, you know what I mean? Like put it on a glass table, have a camera above and below type thing. But I don't know, once you start.
I think that's why, we're doing this experiment, because we want to, Jen's basically going to be the control player. Both players have to be blindfolded. So there's no room for that, interference, I suppose. But yeah, like the way a board works, from what I've read and seen, is that it's both spirit and the person moving it.
Yes.
So it's not just spirit moving it, and I think that's kind of where like our experiment is a little different, because like we only want the spirit to move the planchette. But yeah, and I think the other main thing is we want to educate people that they're not toys, and the fact that they're still sold in as a kids game, in the States, it just blows my mind, because you've got all those skeptics out there and people taking them to slumber parties and let's fool around and do this, and I've got no idea. They don't know what they're inviting in, even if nothing happens. Do you know what I mean?
Me personally, I think a Ouija board is nothing but just another tool. That's all.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. It is. But for me, like a tool, though, you have to use it properly.
Right. I mean, it's just like any of your tools that you have, anything, your paranormal equipment. You have to maintain it, and you have to, has to be clean. Or you don't want to take photos and with a digital camera and your SIM card's filled up. I mean, of course you want to take care of that kind of stuff.
You can't find the EMF with a digital camera. You can't do it.
Well, so we had our K2s going off, like the room, like you could feel it. The room was so charged, and this was a live Ouija board session. But the K2 just would not stop going off, and then the second one started going off. So we had both our K2s going off, but nothing happening on the board. So I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I would not play. But, I also did a demonstration on a live stream once with dowsing rods, because how many people use dowsing rods but move them themselves? So I bought some dowsing rods, the ones that don't have the spinning handle. Okay, so it's just purely the copper. So, even less chance of me being able to move them, right? And so we're trialing them out, and, they moved. It was weird. It was really weird. But then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to see how easy it is for me to manipulate it. And I'm going to see if anyone notices in the chat. And, I had, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 people watching. No one noticed. And then I said to them, I moved them. So this is the thing. It's so hard. Like, they're too, what's the word? Too easily contaminated. Human error or human, what's the word? Oh my God, I've gone brain dead.
I know what you mean. And don't worry, the show has that effect on people. But but no, it's definitely, I agree. It does. And, Doug saying something really good here. A lot of people make excuses sometimes for some of their evidence. Well, this failed, that failed, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you missed it. This happened. Again, you all has to come down to validation. And actually, Howard, we talked about the other thing about being open to everybody and everyone's beliefs and thoughts and all that stuff yesterday. And it's the honest to God truth, because, you can't just sit there and be one-sided in this field. You can't. I'm sorry, you can't be one-sided. You have to do your due diligence, because that's what investigating is. You seeing every aspect of your environment and your situation and investigating it and finding out that truth. And people are definitely closed-minded. And again, I want to bring up Joshua's here. Again, I've said this before. I have no problem if people want to fake their evidence. But if you're going to do that, do it properly. And what I mean is put for entertainment only down below, like what you see on the bottom here. Put it right down on the bottom ticker and say for entertainment only, because it makes these true investigators and these people who work their asses off look like a bunch of clowns. And like Brian, we don't work with
clowns. I don't work with clowns either. I'm the same way like Brian.
Mirrors. Yeah, I still, like, if I go to a place like Green Hills, phenomenal place to investigate, but there's antique freaking mirrors all over the place. I can't look into any of them. I won't. Hey, Jen. But
I'm just like Brian. I don't like dolls, porcelain dolls, and I don't like clowns. Now, Ouija boards I can tolerate. I can deal with the Ouija board. But clowns and dolls, no.
No.
Ashley wants to know how you feel about. Ashley wants to know how you guys feel about pendulums.
No. Again, too easily manipulated by the user. I'm still trying to think of that damn word. I use it all the time too. But I like to be able to give. If I hear something, and and then that is backed up, or I feel something, and then that's backed up by either a light anomaly, or I grab the K2 off Jen or Adam, and the K2 starts going off. Then I can show that, okay, well, what I'm feeling is legitimate. Because how many people especially on YouTube, they're just running around screaming and, oh my God, this happened and that happened. But it's all added in post-production. And it just brings the field down, and it puts me off.
No,
hey, Beth.
Right?
Is Beth out?
No.
Hey, Beth.
Oh, Beth's here? Oh, there she is. Hey, Beth. How you doing tonight?
Hi, Beth.
See, me for pendulums, they actually make holders now that you can get, and basically just like a little like wire tree looking thing, and you can put the pendulum on it, and it's freestanding. Now, obviously, you have to pay attention to any drafts or other things, but for me, I like pendulums because you can actually walk away. Like if you set it up on that thing or the holder, you take that human error out of it. Now, obviously, test out vibrations and stuff like that. And actually, Jennifer's right. Almost every piece of equipment can be manipulated in one way, shape, or form. Yep. But that's why there's a big thing called validation. That's why you have to validate your evidence. Because here's the thing: whatever you catch, whether it's an EVP or whatever it is, it's a good story until it's validated. Then it becomes evidence to me. You have to validate. Now, let's see. And Peta, looked like you had a co-host behind you.
Oh, one of my. Nina. He always has to be in the live stream. He's huge. Nibbles.
He's beautiful.
Come here. He's a big, so.
I'm surprised he ain't knocked nothing down yet, because our cat, that sucker, man, he gets on everything and he just sits down and he watches you. And you see something right in front of him, and he watches you and he's like,
that cat.
What do I do about it now? He knocks it on the floor.
That cat looks like Mr. Jinx. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Meet the Parents, Mr. Jinxie. That's what he looks like.
Oh, yes.
Jinxie.
He's about 10 kilos.
All
He's
right.
massive.
Oh, jeez. Well, Peta, I have one more question for you for this evening, and it is probably, and no, I'm not going to take Brian and Lex's question, but
they've got a
one of my
question
most.
For me?
Oh no, their question. I steal their question a lot of times, but it's an inside joke. It's an inside joke. They said they wrote it, but anyway, and I forgot my notes. So
Whatever.
But I forgot my notes, so I can't steal Lex's question. But anyway, the most important question I have then for you is: would you be willing to come back for, well, I guess a part 2? I thought this was your part 2.
Of course. No. But obviously I'm memorable. But no, that would be awesome. I would love to, of course.
Great. We'd love to have you back. Well, so don't go anywhere, because apparently Howard has some questions for you, and we'll chat backstage as well. But I want to first say thank you so much for your time. I know it's starting your day off, and I'm sorry you had to start it off this way with us.
Yes, and then I have work. I've got work too all weekend.
Ooh.
You got to work the weekend?
Anyway.
Yeah.
What am I complaining about? I work 7 days a week. But thank you so much, though, Peta. Much appreciate
Thanks
your
for having
time
me.
on us. Anytime, you are always welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Anytime.
Thank you, Howard.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
See ya. Howard, brother. What do you think? What do you think of turning the tables tonight?
I love spinning tables. I mean, we'll table tilt this sucker. We'll do everything. I don't care.
Just flip it. Well, I don't want to flip
it.
This
Let's go. We got to bring Brian and Steven on one of these shows. I mean, those are two different types of personalities right there. And oh my Lord, that would be
just bring them on camera together and just let them two just hash at it.
Yeah, they'd love it. I'd love it. I mean, Brian's he's a sweet man. He's a sweet guy. Steven's a sweet guy, and but he's me. It's my alternate personality. He's totally different when you get him talking about different things that shouldn't be talked about. NC-17 things. Let's go that route.
Oh yeah. Well, I will say it was very entertaining watching Brian just go off the handle on the para rant. That was funny.
Yeah, I've
never seen him just go. But I want to say thank you, brother, for joining me tonight as my special co-host. For those who haven't checked him out yet, go check out Paralinks. Go also check out all of Howard's shows that he has on there, the Paranormal Swamp Talk, Unholy Trinity, and of course the one that he asked for some reason me and Squeakers and Mackenzie to co-host, the Petrie Dish. All amazing shows. You can catch them all on Paralinks. There's Paralinks 1, 2, 3 plus live, all over the place. We're all freaking over. Yeah. But thank you again, brother, for joining tonight.
Oh, thank you. And then when I leave here, I'm going to jump over to the Unholy Trinity because I already got a link sent to that. So they're already going on. Yeah, they're about 15 minutes into the show already. So I got.
Well, guys, after the show, head on over. Head on over. Is that on Paralinks 1, 2, or where we at?
I think it's on P1.
P1? Okay, so head on over to Paralinks. Paralinks, guys, you can look it up. It's on YouTube, also on Facebook. Go check them out. And I want to give a special shout out before we go tonight to, obviously, the one and only Brian, our boy, Meester, for Parapost Network and Parapost Network Central. Love it. If you guys haven't heard about Parapost, go check them out. And actually, hold on a second. I don't have my usual background. Usually I can just point to it. Now I'm just all sorts of weirded out. But right over there in the corner there, you can see it. Go check out Parapost Network Central. It is free to sign up. It is literally a paranormal Facebook. No drama, all free to sign up. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go check it out? And go check out Parapost Network Central on Facebook, where you can see this podcast along with many other amazing ones. And like I said, while you're there, check out Paralinks as well. And also go check out Ghost Hunter Advice with our boy Tanner. Love Tanner. He's just got a brand new show. It has everything we got here and more. And it's more interactive. And I want to give a very special thank you to none other than our sponsors tonight for Maglite. Been using them for years, guys, and I keep saying it. I will continue to use them. So I want to thank Maglite for trusting and supporting us, the Paracrew Podcast, and everything we do. So, yeah, I think there's only one thing left for us to say. So y'all have yourselves a great rest of your night. Have fun. Stay safe. And as always, guys, happy hauntings.
Thank you.